I knew something was wrong the moment she flinched at my touch. On her own birthday, in front of her whole family. Her shoulders stiffened when I tried to hold her hand. She pulled away like my fingers burned her skin. And just like that, every suspicion I'd been bearing for months rose like smoke in my chest. It should have been a celebration. Her 32nd birthday. A long table, fairy lights, her parents, her cousins, everyone gathered. But all I could feel was the gulf between us. Cold, heavy, impossible to ignore. I stood there, pretending to straighten the candles on her cake, pretending it didn't tear me apart. She hadn't looked me in the eye once. Not since last night. Not since I'd seen the message. I wish it was you here holding me instead. Sent from a contact saved under a woman's name. But the picture, a man's chest, tattoos I didn't recognize, told the truth. I didn't confront her. I didn't explode. Something in me just went quiet. Like I knew denial would only humiliate me more. So I waited. And tonight, at her birthday dinner, she looked at her phone more than she looked at me. Everyone assumed we were fine. Everyone smiled at us like we were still that perfect couple who used to laugh too loudly and cling to each other at every party. But I saw the distance. I felt the betrayal pressing against my ribs. Still I played the part. I poured drinks. I joked with her cousins. I refilled the breadbasket. I acted like a loving husband because I needed to see something, to understand something before the truth shattered everything. And then her sister arrived. Maya walked in late, a bit out of breath, holding a small gift bag and wearing that familiar warm smile. She hugged her sister first, brief, stiff, almost formal, and then turned to me. That's when everything shifted. She wrapped her arms around me, not politely, not lightly, but with a depth and firmness that made the whole room pause. Her cheek pressed against my shoulder. Her fingers gripped the back of my jacket like she was holding something fragile. And then, barely audible, she whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." My heart stumbled. She pulled away quickly, eyes glassy, avoiding her sister's stare. And my wife nearly dropped her glass. Her expression twisted, panic, anger, recognition. Like she knew exactly what that hug meant. That's when I realized. Maya knew. Probably long before I did. But the moment passed, swallowed beneath small talk and laughter. The cake came out. People sang. My wife smiled brightly for everyone except me. When I tried to put a hand on her back as she blew out the candles, she stepped sideways, pretending she needed space. That's when I knew I couldn't keep pretending. After dessert, while everyone was scattered around the living room, I quietly asked Maya if we could talk. She hesitated. Her eyes flicked toward her sister, fear, worry, guilt. Then she nodded. We slipped out to the backyard, the cold night air settling between us. She hugged her arms, nervously tracing the rim of her bracelet. "You saw something, didn't you?" she asked softly. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She let out a shaky breath. I tried to warn her. I told her to end it. I told her you didn't deserve this. "What exactly is this?" I asked, keeping my voice steady even though my stomach was twisting. She looked away, voice breaking. "She's been seeing him for months. I told her to tell you. I begged her. She said she would. But she didn't." There it was. Raw, simple, devastating. My chest tightened, but strangely I felt calm. Almost relieved to finally have the truth. "Why the hug?" I asked. "Why tonight?" She wiped her eyes. "Because you looked like someone who was breaking quietly. And no one else noticed." I stood there, absorbing her words. The cold didn't bother me anymore. The pain did. I didn't go back inside right away. I waited. Breathe. Let the truth settle in my bones. When I finally walked back in, my wife spotted me immediately. She hurried over, fake smile plastered on her face like nothing was wrong. "Where'd you go? Everyone's asking about you." "Outside," I said quietly. "Talking to Maya." She froze. Then, for the first time all evening, she looked me directly in the eyes. Fear flickered in them, small but unmistakable. "What did she say?" she whispered. "Enough," I said. Her throat bobbed. "We can talk later." "No," I said. "We'll talk now." Her eyes darted around. Family everywhere. She grabbed my wrist. "Not here," she hissed. "Please." That single word, "please," carried more guilt than any confession. I pulled my hand back. "Why him?" She inhaled sharply like she'd been slapped. "It wasn't planned." Neither is betrayal, I said. Her lips trembled. I'm sorry. It was the first honest thing she had said to me in months. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse her in front of everyone. That wasn't who I was. Instead, I leaned closer and said something quietly, firmly, something that made her eyes widen. You pushed me away tonight. But your sister held me like she actually saw me. Her breath hitched. She turned pale. Without another word, I walked to the front of the room, tapped my glass lightly, and everyone turned toward me, expectant, smiling. I forced a gentle smile. Thank you all for coming, I said, my voice steady. Before we wrap up, I just want to share something. My wife stiffened behind me. Her fingers curled into fists. I've realized tonight, I continued, that love isn't about perfect pictures or pretending everything is fine. It's about honesty, loyalty, and choosing each other even when it's hard. A hush spread. I looked at her briefly, saw the panic in her eyes, the trembling lip, the silent plea. But sometimes, I said, you discover that someone stopped choosing you long before you noticed. The room froze. I didn't say her name. I didn't expose details. But the meaning was unmistakable. A cold, clean truth delivered calmly. I set my glass down. Thank you again for celebrating. I'm heading home. I need some air. Maya rose instantly, eyes soft, but I shook my head gently. Stay. This isn't your burden. I walked out, quietly, calmly, leaving a room full of stunned faces, and one woman who knew exactly what she'd lost. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed. A message from her. Please don't leave me. I'll explain everything. I stared at the screen, feeling the ache, the exhaustion, the betrayal. Then I typed back. You already did. And for the first time in months, I felt a strange, steady peace.